Call to order, Town of Prescott Valley, regular town council meeting, February 8th, 2024. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Leyva. Councilmember Greer.
Here.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Here.
Thank you. Councilmember Hepperly.
Here.
Councilmember Schumacher.
Present.
Councilmember Hunt, Vice Mayor Hunt, I'm sorry.
Here.
Mayor Polguta.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, is Corey Ward here? Quad City Church? No? All right. Will you all please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next up, item 3, call to the public. At this time, members of the public may comment on matters listed on the agenda or solely on matters within the jurisdiction of the town. Any persons wishing to address the council must register their name with the town clerk prior to the commencement of the meeting. The council's response is limited to responding to criticism, asking staff to review a matter commented upon, or asking that a matter be put on a future agenda. Such remarks shall be limited to 3 minutes unless additional time is granted by the mayor. And as we've done in the past, we will call up 4 names, 2 on each podium. You will have 3 minutes. At 2.5 minutes, you will hear a ding, and then you will have 30 seconds left of your time. And then at that point, your time speaking will be over. However, your time is not over speaking to the council. You can schedule a meeting with staff or council at any time to speak in further and in depth more. So, clerk, please call 4 names.
Okay, so I only have 3.
Okay, 3.
Kenneth Freud, Tim Reynolds, and Patricia Betzold.
Am I called?
All of you, all 3. We will go ladies first.
I think he means me. Hi, everybody. Patricia Betzold, 3883 North Fairfax Road, PV. I'm here to comment on the submissions that we have on developments in general and recommending that the CAFMA as well as the fire department document showing approval of the development be included in the packet. I noticed today it's still not in there, and we know that that was in question. I have a public records request out for that one. We'll see later this week how it turns out. Also, on the traffic reports in general, I appreciate that those are starting to be included. However, if the applicant is correct that the town of Prescott Valley only requires the immediately adjacent streets and the 2 intersections that are within a couple of 100 feet of the development, this is woefully underestimating the impact of developments on the rest of the community. And in addition, there was no evidence, or apparently there's no documentation of whether the town itself has taken into account all of the developments that have been approved for specific intersections, looked at the cumulative results, and estimated what each developer's share of the cost of improving those traffic signals, sidewalks, or whatever is. We do not want to see the taxpayers bearing the burden of making those improvements if they are directly the result of the development itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Reynolds?
Tim Reynolds. I got to combine 2 speeches into one, so bear with me a little bit. I wanted to talk about affordable and attainable housing, which are defined in the city documents. Affordable is 30% of a gross income for the household, and attainable is 30% of the median income for a family of 4. So that being said, we now have a developer bringing in a whole new term, the missing middle, which has no meaning, no definition. There's no way to calculate rent, just an assurance from an attorney that we will be pleased. At the last council meeting, the attorney said the missing middle is somewhere being higher than a subsidized rent and lower than luxury line rents. That's not much of a definition. But I will say it sounds a lot like attainable housing. Attainable housing. It's higher than subsidized, and it's lower than luxury line. At the $60,000 salary that the average teacher receives, we can calculate the monthly rent for attainable housing at $1,300 per month. And that calculation is $60,000 times 30% is $18,000 a year. You divide that by 12 months, that gives you $1,500 a month total housing cost. I'm deducting $200 for utilities, it's probably low. So that gets you to $1,300 as your base rate, $200 for utilities, that gets you attainable housing. Let's see. So I think I've just solved the problem for the developer. The missing, or what she called it, I'm sorry. But anyways, the missing middle should be attainable housing, which would be $1,300 per month for some of her units. If this developer wants to set aside some units as attainable housing, that would be great. Also, please remember that there are many members of our city, not just school teachers, that are in need of attainable and affordable housing. Sorry, I babbled a little bit. I tried to condense two speeches into one. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Freund?
Good evening. My name is Kenneth Freund, and I reside at 13401 East Palomino Lane in PV. I have two things I want to briefly talk about. The first is the matter of rezoning for the Navajo Drive project of 153 multifamily units, the project approved last session, which the council and the mayor unanimously approved after the Planning and Zoning Commission had rejected it. The P&Z Commission was handpicked by you, and this latest action is not only a slap in the face to the board, but to all of the residents of our town. This council's continued rubber stamping of projects which change zoning, increase the population density of our town, increase demands on roads, infrastructure, and water supply are not sustainable and reduce the quality of life for all. The second issue is the change in speaker rules. It's my understanding that you're now starting the clock as soon as a person is called to speak, which I consider an obvious ploy to reduce the amount of citizen input at meetings. When Mayor Skoog was in office, residents were giving a respectful 5 minutes to speak. Many of our residents are older people, and many have mobility issues and handicaps. This is in opposition to the intent of ADA guidelines and could cause persons trying to hurry to the podium to fall and possibly be injured, or people with mobility issues having trouble standing and waiting in line at the podiums. Another issue is forcing all speakers to stand. Like I said, this is condescending and insulting to our citizens and can be a barrier to these people that have issues. The people who stand here and pour their hearts out, pleading for the council and the mayor to do the right thing, deserve more, deserve better. These citizens are the reason the mayor and the council are sitting up there, and these people voted you into office, and you represent their interests. This seems to have been forgotten, and it's time to decide who you actually work for. Thank you.
Sure. Moving on, item 4, council communications. We'll start on the end. Councilwoman Greer. Councilwoman Schumacher.
Not at this time.
Vice Mayor.
Hi, everybody. It's that time of year again when the Humboldt Unified School District and the Humboldt Education Foundation is collecting money for hungry kids. So the whole month of February, we are collecting loose change, we'll take checks and bills too, to help fund our hungry kids. So we pack 250 bags every Friday to go home with kids that don't have food on weekends. Breakfast, lunch at 2, breakfast, lunches, and dinners. And so this is our Penny War event, and the schools will be competing between February 12th and 16th, but we're going to leave it open for the whole month of February for residents and businesses. Last year we made $4,000 just pretty much from the kids, so we'd like to double it to $8,000, which will take care of 2 months of food for our kids that need to eat on the weekends. So if you have any loose change, be sure and leave them with me.
Councilwoman Leyva.
Yes, I have a couple of things. Last council meeting. I couldn't be here because I had the honor of being one of the graduates from this amazing program. It's called Dottie London. Is the Service for Public Excellence. And this program is for women in the state of Arizona. It's usually one woman per county. And so for the last 10 months, I attended classes, and it was an honor to be a part of it. I've learned so much. So last council meeting was my graduation. And then also I had the pleasure of attending a Women of Distinction luncheon as well last week. And the speaker was Congresswoman Debbie Lesko, and she's an outstanding person to learn from, a great example of a leader. And so, yes, those are my two things that I wanted to share with you guys.
Thank you, ma'am. Back to Vice Mayor.
Sorry, I forgot. On item 6F tonight on our consent agenda, we are being asked to approve a new Planning and Zoning Commissioner, and that's Ted Erb, and he's right here in the front row. Welcome, Ted. He comes to us with a lot of experience in the fire industry. He's been a fire marshal and a fire chief, and so we welcome him to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Welcome, Ted.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilwoman Dickinson, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Davidson.
No report.
Item 6, consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the town council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Council, we've had a chance to review the packet. If there's an item to remove, please do so now. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a recommendation to approve the consent agenda by electronic vote.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Dickinson, how would you like to vote?
Yes.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thanks, ma'am. Next up, item 7, old business, Navajo, BTR, ZMC 23-003. Mr. Ruby.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, staff has nothing further to add in terms of comments on this project. Be glad to answer any questions, and the applicant's agent is also here to answer any questions if you have them.
Council, we have any questions for Mr. Ruby or the applicant's
Ashley
agent?
Marsh.
I'm sorry? Is
Ashley Marsh is the,
there anything you wish to add? Seeing nothing, clerk?
Ordinance number 2024-934. An ordinance of the mayor and common council of the town of Prescott Valley, a municipal corporation of Arizona, amending the town zoning map ZMC 23-003 for the Navajo Drive built-to-rent project located at the intersection of Navajo Drive and East Ridge Drive from RCU 18, residential single-family rural, to RSPAD, residential and services planned area development zoning, and providing that this ordinance shall be effective 30 days after its passage and approval according to law.
Thank you, ma'am. Shall this ordinance pass?
Councilmember Dickinson,
Yes.
Mayor Polguta,
Yes.
that passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. And just for information, I'm not sure what happened, but I'm not in the system right now. Next up, item new business, 8A, FDP 23-015, Southwest Homes. Mr. Ruby.
thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. This is a request by Mr. John Rocha of Southwest Homes for a final development plan, FDP 23015, for a factory-built model home center located near the southeast corner of the intersection of Enterprise and Valley Road. You can see the location here. It's to the east of Enterprise Boulevard, directly across from Canyon Distributing. It is on two separate parcels, approximately 4.29 acres. It is zoned M1 pad, so it is an allowed by right use in that district. The proposed development, again, is located on the south side of Valley Road, approximately 750 feet from the Enterprise Boulevard intersection. Two site access points have been recommended by the traffic engineer for the applicant. That's under consideration now with it may be problematic with having the driveways directly across. I think Mr. Rocha is here to address that for you. The sales office would be a factory-built, non-permanent building connected to town water and sewer, APS power and telecommunication facilities. It would have a commercial look, and as we go through, I'll show you that's some of the elevations for this, some of the models that are being proposed. Again, all the model homes would be installed on non-permanent foundations and adhere to all Arizona Department of HUD and our Department of Housing and HUD rules and regulations. Some of the homes will be connected to power, others would not be. The outer boundary of the display area, as we can see here on the plan off of Valley Road, actually has a 30-foot access driveway around the site. And a traffic analysis has been performed, estimates for the proposed site being well within the daily trips, at 9 trips in the AM peak hour and 14 trips in the PM peak hour. Parking has been provided, 22 standard spaces along with ADA spaces are provided. The site is anticipated to be accessed by oversized vehicles transporting the model home, so at least one of the driveways will need to provide necessary turning radii to get the fire equipment in. CAFMA, Central Arizona Fire and Medical Authority, has reviewed and approved the site plan with a condition for an all-weather access road on the perimeter of the project. Landscaping and lighting will be pursuant to town codes. As a matter of fact, you can see the landscaping plan here. Be extensive landscaping along Valley Road and additional landscaping near the homes across the parking lot there. The project will require separate sign permitting for building and site signage. The preliminary development plan was reviewed by Planning and Zoning Commission on December 11th and approved by a unanimous vote. The final development plan, FDP 23015, has been reviewed by staff, all departments, and meets town standards. It's consistent with the existing uses in the area. And if I can just scroll through, these are some of the representations of the types of homes that will be provided by Southwest. Of note is the garages that are added to these homes. Here's another shot. So it has been reviewed by town. It's consistent with the existing uses in the area and congruent with the provisions of the M1 PAD zoning district and the business park designation in our general plan 2035. I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have. The applicant is here, Mr. Rocha, to answer any questions as well.
We have any questions? Councilwoman?
So just to reiterate, these were the model homes not to be occupied?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
They look so permanent, like maybe you could. Where would the models then be transferred to? Let's say somebody purchases a home through seeing the models, then is there going to be a site where these will be erected?
I will defer that to Mr. Rocha if he.
Yes, please.
Hello, everybody, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. Yeah, to answer your question, so these are just models, and they obviously these are homes that are set in some property for conceptual reasons, but ours will be temporary. And so, yeah, if you come to the sales office, you pick the home you want, customize it, and right now we're doing this without models. You know, we sell about four to six or so a month, and they're going to most outlying areas in the county, so like North Prescott Valley. I mean, we go as far as like Williams, Congress, Ash Fork, all those places. So essentially, whether you own the lot, you know, we can erect them and install them there, or if you're looking for a lot as well, we can do that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anything else, Vice Mayor?
I have a couple questions, Mr. Rocha. So you can make these small enough where the lots that are big enough in town can have them as a second unit?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
like 400 square feet.
Yeah, in fact, that's becoming, I mean, I would say in the last 6 months or so, that's becoming naturally popular. A lot of folks are like, for example, like Coyote Springs area, up in the county's areas. We've been doing, I think, maybe about 15 projects now where they do take a 10-acre piece or 2-acre piece and put what we call kind of an ADU unit under that 500 square feet, 600 square feet, somewhere around there. And they're utilized for, aging parents, kids that are coming back from college. And so, yeah, there's a lot of versatility in them for sure.
And I heard you speak at the Dr. Griffin's Superintendent Advisory Committee meeting, and I think I heard you say that these units were getting 30-year mortgage funding and that their life is 70 to 80 years like a stick-built structure.
Yeah, that's correct. They've come a long way from the 1970s trailers of yesterday, of what a lot of people still think they are. Yeah, 2x6 construction. I mean, if we go apples to apples on what they are for what you see in like new home builder communities, we can pretty much build at that same level of quality. Studies have shown now that we set them on permanent foundations, so it's a stem wall block foundation, and they sit just on the ground, just like you see them here on these pictures. And so their longevity as far as lifespan is now clocked around 50 to 60 years, which is really, really close now to even what site-built lifespans are. So yes, that is correct. We're excited.
And then my final question, price per square foot difference.
Right now we're about retailing at about $125 to about $150 a square foot. So if anybody has either quoted a job for construction or have looked at prices in the market for what a new home, say traditional residential site built has been, I think they're upwards at about $250 plus. So in fact, I was tickled pink with the gentleman, Tim Reynolds, that came up here a little bit ago, because our mission is to be the attainable, affordable housing force in, this Yavapai County area. And we get the blessing and the privilege to be able to do that. And we've been doing that now pretty strongly for the last 2.5 to 3 years, is to, get folks into homes and actually own their piece of property and not rent it, which I know is another very popular business model right now with manufactured homes.
And then finally, for staff, I want to make sure, I know we're in the middle of a zoning code update, and that we are going to broaden many of our residential zones to allow this type of structure, not just in the manufactured zones. Correct? Yes. Okay, great.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Councilwoman?
Just one more comment as well. In the olden days, mobile homes used to be under the Department of Transportation rulings for how they were built. And they did not usually meet snow load requirements for the building department in a lot of areas. And so my question is, you are building for this area with snow load and up to code and everything that you're supposed to be, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The state oversees kind of the HUD code, if you will, but we still have to adhere to normal. So like, for example, we're building 60-pound roof loads up in Williams because of their snow load. So yeah, it's definitely built to withstand the elements here where we're at.
I'm more saying that for other people to not come back at us later. So
Yeah, absolutely.
thank you for that. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that all the requirements fall on your shoulders for the building department justification, just like anybody else to be a builder here in this area. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else? Councilman?
I'm glad that you mentioned the work that you're doing in affordable housing. I was gonna give you a shout out anyways, because I know that you are kind of an unsung hero. I think that you've done work with CCJ, Agape House, and it's you know how badly needed it is, and I appreciate that you recognize that so early on and have really taken the initiative and are providing these homes.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for saying that.
This time, council, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign resolution number 2024-2360 approving final development plan FDP 23-015 for Southwest Homes by electronic vote.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Yes.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you. Clerk, do you have something for us?
I do not in this.
You do not have something for us. You will have something for us. Item 8B, Town Code Amendment, Stormwater Service, consideration of possible action. Mr. Legler.
Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you. When you adopted the amendments to the water fees and the wastewater fees on December 14th, you also adopted a new stormwater fee. To administer these fees, we've got to make amendments to the town code and to the utility regulations in order to administer these fees. And so the first thing that you're going to be asked to do tonight is to adopt a new Town Code Article 9-05C that deals with the stormwater service. And you'll be just deciding whether to read that for the first reading this evening. And then the next agenda item will be an amendment based on a resolution of the utility regs. And that will be effective tonight. If you adopt that resolution, then we will amend the utility regs to be able to administer the new stormwater fee. And that'll be the second action you would take. If you have any questions.
Council, any questions for Mr. Legler? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to read ordinance number 2024-935, enacting a new town code, Article 9-05C, Stormwater Service by title only on 2 separate occasions, then place the same on final passage.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Dickinson?
Yes.
That passes unanimously, Mayor. Ordinance number 2024-935. An ordinance of the mayor and common council of the town of Prescott Valley, a municipal corporation of Arizona, amending Chapter 9, Health and Sanitation, to add a new Article 9-05C, Stormwater Service, and amending Section 12A-03-010 in Chapter 12A, Stormwater Regulation, in the town code as part of adopting and administering new stormwater rates, fees, charges, and penalties. That all other chapters, articles, and sections of the town code not herein amended shall remain in full force and effect, providing that if any provision in this ordinance is held invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, the remaining provision shall not be affected, but shall continue in full force and effect, and providing that this ordinance shall be effective 30 days after its passage and approval according to law.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 8C, amendment, customer service, or customer accounts regulations, stormwater service. Mr. Legler.
For me, go ahead and I'll be glad to answer them. Otherwise, it's simply a motion to read the resolution.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign resolution number 2024-2361, amending the customer accounts regulations for administration of stormwater rates, fees, charges, and penalties by electronic vote.
I second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Dickinson?
Yes.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, item 9, motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Clerk.
Councilmember Dickinson?
Yes.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Hey, folks, thanks for coming out and drive safe. Roads might be icy.
Well done.